someone used to coordinate the meeting, facilitate the meeting, and then people will contribute, and then there will be conclusion and the next steps. Now, here it is how meetings are happening today. So these 6 people are spread around the world in 6 different countries. And if you look at how they are interacting, it may seem to some people very unsettling experience, because it is nothing like the meetings we had. Now there is a person who is connected to a telephone line. Perhaps the broadband speed is not very good, so that person prefers telephone line. So there is another one who prefers to connect to Skype. Perhaps there could be a bit of video. Then there is third person who chats through text, chat. Perhaps she wants to do something else in addition to chatting during this meeting. Perhaps her role in that meeting is only 10 minutes, but she has to be present for an hour. So what is she going to do for 50 minutes? Then one of them posed a question during the meeting, and the fourth person quickly finds answer to that by searching in one Excel sheet. Why to wait till the meeting is concluded to find the answer and send an email which the person will receive and get the answer? And there was some talk about potential competitor. So fifth one immediately Googles about that competitor, who that competitor is, how big they are, where they are present, so that he can bring in relevant, fresh, up-to-date information in this conversation. And then there is one person who is not attending this meeting. So whatever is being talked about, sixth person is typing an email for that person. And as soon as the meeting is concluded, send button, so the seventh person also gets what was discussed there. Now we'll come back to that when we discuss how things have changed in the past, and is this difference or is this change different one. But this is what has happened in today's workplace. And it is not about, again, technology. You may think that Skype is being used, or spreadsheet is being used, or Google is being used, so it is about technology. These are all the means to get what you want. What makes your meeting more productive? What brings in fresh information in the discussion? Now it's around tea time, and we snack when we have tea. Have you heard people snack news nowadays? People don't read news. They snack news. So with our morning tea, we'll have a newspaper nearly in our hand. We still have. That has not, gone away. But that has been supplemented with news snack. What it means? It means that when we have this smartphone in our hand and we are continuously on the move, there are times when we are free. We are sitting in the car, have nothing to do at that point. Either we are talking to someone or we are looking at the phone, snacking news. The first example was about professional effectiveness. This one is about personal effectiveness. Now these are not the only trends which are happening. I have only given a sample of what is happening. What it means? What it means is that in next 10 to 20 years, the way our brains are wired will be completely changed. Is it about technology? It is about the evolutionary process of our brain. Social skills will definitely be there. Without that, you can't be effective. So in this context, can I now ask you, what do you think will it take to be more effective?
You should know completely how to use a smartphone.
Think how to use a smartphone.
I still don't know 90% of the functions. And 90% of the apps which can be downloaded.
Many of us. Many of us.
And the children are too busy to help.
Why does that happen? I have two questions actually around this. One is knowing 100% of your smartphone required?
Actually, it's not required. That's why we don't know.
That's a good input. What's important is to know 100% how the brain functions and how that is changing with the flood of information. You know, this is a little old data, but an average person today consumes 37 GB of data every day. What it means? You will fill this whole room with the books and still that will be less than 37 GB. How it has happened? Every minute we are posting videos on YouTube which has content for next 20 hours. Can you ever keep track of all that? Should you be keeping track of all that? The answer to both the questions is no. So when someone has to become effective in this, what is required? I have thought of 3 E's. Embrace, empower, and evolve. And I'll talk about each one of them. And as we go along, you'll see that all of them relate to the human behavior. None of them is about technology. You know, when internet came in 1999 or 1995, people said there was an agricultural revolution, then industrial revolution, and now we have information revolution. But people don't realize that we have, as human beings, already gone through 3 information revolution before internet revolution. And you know what they are? when we started writing. 400 BC. You know how big that shift was at that point of time? Socrates said that writing takes away the intellectual power of personal communication. What face-to-face you are talking. He was against writing things. But he had a disciple called Plato who wrote all that. Sorry. Who wrote all that? This was such a big shift when all the knowledge was conveyed through verbal communication. There was no proof that that was said. As soon as it came in writing, that changed the whole dynamics of communication. And this, today we don't realize, because we grew up writing. But today's children grow up tapping. And therefore, for them, it is not information overload. Right from the childhood, their brain is absorbing hundreds and thousand times more information than we have absorbed in our childhood. And that is how it is changing the whole way they respond to things. The second information revolution happened in 15th century when movable typesetting came up. So you could have more and more copies of the things, not just handwritten manuscripts. And again there was a big resistance at that time, because people who used to write were held in very high esteem, and they said that if you take writing away to printing, it kills the intellectualism. That was the second information revolution. Mass printing. And this is very important to see the parallel of today. You know, when mass printing came, it became very easy to print thousands and thousands of books and bring down the cost. Now what happened suddenly, that people got access to books. That was a privilege. To read novels was a privilege. So if large population of the society got access to novels, it suddenly changed the dynamics of the whole society. And that was again an information revolution, because there were not so many books available anywhere earlier. And there is one thing which is very interesting here to talk about. As kids are and as parents are today more concerned that there should be some control on phone or using technology or using computer. In those days, young boys and girls were not allowed to take books. And they actually then what you did, they did, that they had their pockets sewn into the coats, big pockets in which they will keep the book. So from outside it will not be visible that they are carrying books. And the argument was that it will affect them in bad ways. And the same argument is being talked about in today's world about internet, about technology, about computers. When the fourth information revolution started in 1990, now I mentioned about 3 E's to be more effective. And the first one was embrace. In none of the earlier information revolution, people easily embraced. And now also there are